Hi everybody, Dumb on Metha here, back with more fan fiction for me to review, talk about. As always, I'll explain what's happening. It's like the 30th time I'm doing it, but whatever. Explanation, here we go. I have an account, fanfiction.net. Sorted it by publication. I've sorted my favorites list on that account by publication date, reading the oldest and going back towards the newest, and I'm seeing whether they deserve to stay on my list or not. So, first one on my list today is Naruto Reborn, Sasuke Uchiha by Danfiction. So basically this is like starts sometime in the future after like Naruto becomes Hokage and Naruto and Sasuke end up killing each other during some kind of fight, and then fate shows up and is like, oh, Sasuke is trying to go back in time to make things better. Fate's like, that's not going to help, and then instead sends Naruto, and then so he sends him to a dimension where Sasuke was like brain dead after the Uchiha massacre and takes over his body. And in that world, there's no Naruto. Instead, there's a girl named Ami, who's the demon carrier. So basically, it just goes with Sasuke, Sasuke with all the reputation and like love of the village, but with Naruto's attitude. And he basically just shows that, okay, he would have been a very charismatic and friendly person. Well, not just young Naruto, but older Naruto attitude. So some smartness is there, intelligence, and like emotional as well. It's a little slow to start. It takes like 8 chapters to get to the Genin exam, which was the first episode of the show. But it's really the Chunin exam part where the differences start to show, and also we start getting more separation from canon. There are differences in the beginning, but it's mostly just, hey, everybody's more friendly and he's friends with everybody and stuff like that, and she has more, and Ami has a couple more jutsus or whatever. But it's really after the Chunin exam start and all the rest that it becomes its own thing. It doesn't get much further than that, sadly. I really wish it was kept going. It finishes the Chunin exam and then a little bit more, but then that's all it gets to. I really wish it had continued, and yeah, that's a good sign. Naruto as Sasuke is pretty interesting, and seeing him try to forge new relationships with people he kind of knows is pretty interesting, and I really enjoyed this fic. Well written, and I think it's staying on my list. Next is Common Sense by DisobedienceWriter, and this is another of the many odd idea, dumping grounds of many of the authors. This one's DisobedienceWriters. Mainly, this is all Harry Potter, and most of these are centered on the actual character, and usually it's just like him tackling a lot of the scenes with more intelligence, or like finding a different way to do things. It's mostly interesting. Most of them are serious, but I did enjoy all of them. Oh man. Oh, yeah, bless me. Excuse me. Whatever. But anyway, they're all really interesting, I think, especially the ones that are more serious. Like, the first one is just basically him saying, like, hey, this idea of all of us escaping with the 7 Harrys at the 7th book thing is stupid, and this is how we should do it, and stuff. And it's just, yeah, it makes sense. It's intelligent, works with that. I like it, and 1 or 2 of them did spin off into their own stories, so you can check them out too, but this file is still more than enough to stay on my list. After that, we have more Harry Potter. Most of these are, I think this one is mostly Harry Potter, with just the one Naruto at top. This one is Agent 00 Hex by KafkaExMachina, and yeah, it's, as it sounds, Harry Potter gets raised by James Bond, and he ends up with, he actually ends up going on a couple missions, ends up with his own arch nemesis, and then they both end up going to Hogwarts. It's really funny. I love it a lot. It doesn't get far. There's only 3 chapters, and that just gets to the train ride starting of the second year. But I find it to be super humorous, and what's there is really funny. I wish there was more, but here it's still more than enough to stay on my list. Okay. Another one that's pretty funny is Harry Potter and the Narrative Causality by Clell65619. And this is short thing about the 2 weeks in the summer before his third year where he was in the alley. Wait, no. Oh god, wow. I'm so confused. Oh, sorry. Harry Potter and Narrative Causality. Let me rephrase it. I was talking about the next fic. Sorry. Harry Potter and Narrative Causality is basically, I think it's the start of 7th year or something. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't really matter. Basically, Harry just starts to learn that he learns that he's a character in a poorly written story that gets whatever he needs to succeed, and so he's going to abuse that ability as much as he can to save the day and Voldemort and also get laid. Fun enough. I chuckled a bit during it, but it wasn't super gut busting. It wasn't super funny. I've said this a couple times. It's good, it's enjoyable, but compared to his other stuff, I'd say this is B grade funny material. So nice one shot. That's pretty funny, but this one's not going to stay on my favorites list. Now the one I was talking about before, 2 Weeks in the Alley by Baha B. This one is about Harry spending the 2 weeks in Diagon Alley before the summer of his third year. This is another one that didn't have a lot of huge laughs, but it's weird. Actually, saying this out loud when I go back feels weird. But it's the fact that it's the previous one was one joke, and here it's a whole bunch of little jokes that are constantly sprinkled in. Here does this, and again it's the same thing where I was chuckling, but no big gut busting laughs, but I was chuckling throughout. There was only the one chuckle, which isn't enough, but here it's 10 or 20, and I'm constantly smiling and happy. I enjoy this a lot more. It's wholesome, nothing really big, but it's really fun, just a little distraction. I like it a lot, and it's going to stay on my list. Alright, last one for this video. Harry Potter and the Girl Who Lived by Agnostic's Puppet. This is apparently he got this from Silver Aegis. I tried to look that one up, and the only thing I found was just an outline for a story more than an actual story, but whatever. Starts with Harry goes to sleep one night at the age of 22, and then he just wakes up de-aged and near Hogwarts in a new dimension. And he meets Rose, who is Femme Harry of this universe, and they fall in love, and they go to stop Voldemort. It's weird how Rose immediately trusts him, especially this is during the Triwizard Tournament arc, where everybody and especially because everybody betrayed her, not just Ron, so she should be super suspicious of everything, and she says a few things which is no, my gut says I trust him, so I trust him, and basically they immediately fall in love with each other. I guess it gets a little back-ended explained because their souls are the same, so they get a connection. But otherwise, this is a shit ton of cliches, and oh boy, all of the stuff that happens. You got the superpowered core, Animagus Phoenix transformation, and he's also a basilisk. There's literally a chamber that makes Potter people stronger, which is the power that he knows not. The Illuminati are there, and they're the ones that summoned Harry, because why not? It's a lot of stuff that's become very commonplace and ridiculous now. The Illuminati is just ridiculous in general, but that's there. The writing itself is okay. The story itself, nothing super interesting. It's a standard little romance story with bit of adventure that tackles all of the fourth year. Nothing harmful or like really offensive or like offending my sensibilities in its terribleness. It's just standard and dull with lots of cliches, and it's gonna fall off my list. So there we go, 6 more stories, which if you are interested, they're in the description down there. If you want to watch the videos, like I have a playlist for this on my channel. If you want the whole journey, if you want to read this instead, with links also being there, you can. I have a link to my forum thread that I do this all on as well. Please like the video if you guys like it, this journey. If you want to keep up to date when I'm doing this, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Adios.